Hello everybody, my name is Noah Rich and today we're going to be talking about my favorite band, Weezer. Weezer released their first album in 1994, which is one of everybody calls it their best album, which is the Blue Album. Which honestly has their greatest hits, is amazing. There's not one song on here that, like, if I put this CD on, there's not one song on here that I would skip. I would just listen to it all the way. On this album, you have great hits like My Name is Jonas, Buddy Holly, Undone the Sweater Song, Surf Wax America, Say It Ain't So, In the Garage, Holiday, Only in Dreams, No One Else. Legit, every song on this album is amazing. And I don't care what anybody else says about it. Alright, next up after that, they have the album Pinkerton. It was released in 1996. It definitely goes in the same kind of tone as the Blue Album, and it is a great album, by the way. I would say, honestly, with the Blue Album, this album I could totally just play on and just leave it on and not have to skip any tracks and just be totally cool with it. It's honestly, I think, one of their best albums with the Blue Album. It's the uniqueness of, like, I don't know, like the way Rivers Cuomo, which is the lead singer of the band, he like expresses his feelings and just everything about it is just so like it just gets you going, and I've always liked that. Then there was a big hiatus period, and from 1996 to 2001 they didn't release an album, but in 2001 they released the Green Album, which got mixed reviews. It was okay. I mean, this album's not bad. A lot of people say it's like, okay, there's a few songs. It's kind of like Red Album where you can pick and pull a few songs. It's not bad, though. I really do enjoy the album. There's some great songs like Hash Pipe, Island in the Sun, Photograph, and I have the Japanese edition that's got the Christmas song on it, which is freaking awesome. It's a really good album. I would say it's one of their tops. It's like, now, I mean, there's not much to say about it. There is some songs that I feel like this song has a lot of like the songs that have the same tempo, and it kind of does get a little bland after a while, but it is a really good album either way. Next up, Maldoroid came out in 2002, right after the Green Album, and it kind of just got swept under the rug, I feel like. Not a lot of people talk about this album. This album is freaking awesome. It has some great tracks like American Giggaloo, Keep Fishin', Death and Destruction, Slave, Love Explosion, December, and this one has a DVD, like it's one of those like weird CDs that has like, you can like download music videos onto it too, and it's like a limited edition. It's pretty cool, honestly. I really do love this album. It's one of my, I would say this is in my top 5, honestly. It's still got, like, Green went, okay, it goes Blue is, like, pretty hard. Pinkerton, I said, goes a little bit harder in rock, and don't come at me for saying that. Then it goes down to Green, and then I would say Maldoroid goes pretty much back right up to Blue. It goes almost there. It goes pretty hardcore, and it's a really good album. Now, Weezer's first live CD, technically, would be The Lion and the Witch. Now, this CD is pretty hard to come by. They only made a limited amount of them, and it says right there, and shiny. It's really good. It's got 6 songs. I mean, it's a live CD. It's pretty good. Some dude yells "smoke dope" halfway through. It's kind of funny. But it's just got Dope Nose, Island in the Sun, Falling for You, Death and Destruction, El Scorcho, and Holiday. So it's like a mix of green, blue, and Maldoroid, and it's a mix of all their, like, before this past albums. It's pretty good. I would recommend picking it up, especially because it's hard. It's hard to find. You cannot find that CD without going online. Next is one of their most reclaimed albums. Like, people really do not like this album, and I don't know why. I think it's a really good album. I wouldn't say really good. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's Ratitude, And some people say that it's total trash, and it is not total trash. It has some okay songs on it. There is some really good songs, like if you're wondering if I want you to, I want you to. That song is freaking awesome. It's definitely more like I feel like it's everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be all right in the end, kind of like album feel, and it's really cool. It's got tripping down the freeway. I really like, and then in the mall is pretty good. The other songs like the song is Love Is the Answer. It's just okay. Like there's like a few that I would skip by on a normal basis, but if I was like if you put this on and I had to listen to it, I wouldn't be just like I'd be all right. Like it's good background music. Next up, we got the Red Album, and it is honestly pretty much a Weezer mix bag. Like it's got some really freaking good songs on there. And there's some that are okay. Like they got Troublemaker, which is really good. The Greatest Man That Ever Lived, which is really good as well. Pork and Beans, Heart Songs, Everybody Get Dangerous. Everybody Get Dangerous is okay. Dreamin', Thought I Knew is actually really good. Now the interesting thing about this album is the first time you get to see Pat and Scott sing songs, which is really and Brian. But it's really cool seeing like letting Rivers like share the spotlight and let other people sing. Like this one has the bonus tracks on there, and it has Miss Sweeney, Pig, the Spider, and the King, which is really weird names, but they're honestly really good songs, and some of them are sung by other members of the band, and is really cool. And also, we got to point out the only time Rivers Cuomo has a mustache, pretty much. He's got beard and mustache, but only time just singular mustache. And I gotta say, not half bad, man. Not half bad. Okay, next we got is pretty much up there with Gratitude. It's kind of crapped on a lot. It's make believe. This is the first ever Weezer album I got from my brother, and it's a pretty good album. I'm not gonna lie. It's got a decent amount of songs. Like it's got Beverly Hills, which everybody likes, which is totally unsung. It's oversung. I mean, everybody talks about that song, and it's a good song. Don't get me wrong. Calm down. But there's a lot better Weezer songs than Beverly Hills. I'm just saying that right now. They got Perfect Situation, We Are All on Drugs, which actually has a good message in the song and actually sounds pretty sweet. My Best Friend's pretty good. Haunt You Every Day. The Damage in Your Heart. If I don't say a song, I still do like the song. There's not a song. Like, I would say Hold Me, I would skip by. It's okay. Next up is it's a really good album. I'm not saying it's not, but the weirdness of it is we got Death the False Metal. And this is a limited edition vinyl too. They didn't make that many of these. Yeah, this one is limited edition number 497. I only think they made a 1,000, which is, I'm really happy to have this. Okay, back to the album. They have a bunch of just kind of like mixed bag, like demos. I mean, they're technically demos because they actually got released on this album, but they're like a mixed bag of really good songs, though. There's some like Turning Up the Radio, Blowing My Stack, I'm a Robot, which is like weirdly good. Like it's got weirdly a good beat and it's really nice. Autopilot, The Odd Couple, Trampoline, Unbreak My Heart, Maliki and Carl. Like honestly, this is one that I like love for background music. Like if I'm just doing something, I always put on this album because it's just got a mix. It's like different flavors. It goes like up, down, and it kind of goes everywhere. And it's a really good album. Next, we got the one, the only, Hurley, which honestly is a really good album too. I know I've been saying that a lot, but I just love Weezer, guys. This one is the I don't know what edition you would call it, but special edition. The red one is the special edition, which got bonus tracks on it. The blue one has just the standard edition, which recommend getting the red one because the bonus tracks on here are Via La Vida, and the Weezer cover of that is freaking awesome. I just gotta say that. And I Want to Be Something is pretty sweet. Honestly, all the songs on here are really good. There's Where's My Sex. It's okay. But everything else is pretty good. Like Memories, Train Wrecks, and Time Flies. Next up, we got Everything Is Gonna Be Alright in the End. And yes, that is the name of the album. I think this album is freaking awesome. Now, with the last one, which was Hurley, it's kind of like, I would say Hurley's more of like a soft rock. It does get a little, I mean, like, I'm not saying it's a bad album, I'm saying. But this goes back, I would say, it goes back to Harder. And it's got Ain't Got Nobody, excuse me, Back to the Shack, Lonely Girl, I've Had It Up to Here, British for Coming. You hear a lot of higher vocals of Rivers Cuomo in this one, but it's like good though. I really do enjoy this a lot. And next one I would say is in my top, I'd say my top 3. I really, really like this album. Would be the White Album. And I do have it on vinyl. Not white vinyl though. I know that's a limited edition and I really wish I had that one. But I got the White Album and it is really good. I have the Japanese CD too, which has freaking 15 songs on it compared to 10, which is 5 extra bonus songs. Why wouldn't you want it? And it is really cool. Great ones are California Kids, Winning Our Sale, Thank God for Girls, Do You Want to Get High is actually a really good song. Summery Lane and Drunk Dory. Honestly, every song on this, but some of the 5 extra bonus songs is number 11 is I Love the USA, and it's a really funny music video, and I really do like the song. You got Friend of a Friend, Fake Smiles and Nervous Laughter, and Prom Night. They're interesting songs. Honestly, they show a weird side of Weezer that you usually don't get to see, and I really would recommend getting the Japanese version of the Weezer White Album. Alright, next up we got one of the controversial Weezer albums. I know, they're pretty much all controversial. People with Weezer go this all the time. We got Pacific Daydream. And this album it's a great album. I'm not going to lie. I really do enjoy the album. And I just want to show you. I got the red and black version of vinyl, which I think looks freaking sweet. I was just showing you that. It has some really good song on it, like It Feels Like Summer, and some of them are good. I feel like they kind of just got rid of guitar on this one, though. Like, when this came out, I really liked it, like, a lot. And I still do really enjoy the album. But, dude, when you listen, like, put in Blue Album, then put in this album. I know I'm kind of like everybody else when I say that. But it legit, like, where's the guitar at, man? Like, there is some guitar, don't get me wrong. It's just like, where did all of it go? Every Weezer song used to have a guitar in it. Now it's kind of just like this pop crap, which is good. Some of their pop is actually really good, I ain't gonna lie. Rivers Cuomo is an amazing songwriter. And just, I don't know, it's hard to explain a little bit. But this album is a really good album, and I would recommend getting this album, even though. Alright, next up, which is the newest ones, we have the Teal album. Now, everybody says this album, like, oh, it's a crappy Weezer album, Africa's awesome. Like, okay, yeah, Africa's a good song, and they put it on the radio. Why, of all Weezer's great songs, they get a cover on the radio of Africa? Like, it's a good cover. I'm not saying anything against it. But why does that get played so much and get covered so much? Like, even, like, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's got 10 songs on here. Not all of them are great. But this wasn't made to be a legit album. This was made to be... They released this album so to people... The next album, I'm just going to say, the Black Album, it was for fans to get this while they're waiting on this. And I think that's pretty sweet of them to do that. I was a hardcore Weezer fan right there. I started getting into Weezer right when Pacific Daydream came out. That's when I got like heavy into Weezer. Then they just threw this out of nowhere onto YouTube, and I bought it digitally. I got the CD. I didn't get the vinyl though. I tried to find it record store day, and I couldn't find it, and it's so expensive now. But yeah, I'm trying to look for that one. But it is a good album. The covers are good, and I think like Rivers Como of Billie Jean cover, it's interesting to say the least. But I mean, I don't know. It's just pop it in, give it a listen. I wouldn't say buy that one. I would say listen to it. If you really do like it, then give it a purchase. Now, next we have the Black Album, which the Black Album is a great album. I do think so. But it's kind of like with the Green Album. Like you're going like Weezer was going good, and then the Black Album came out. It's a good album. I will say that. It's got Can't Knock the Hustle. It's got Zombie Bastards. It's got High as a Kite. Living in LA. It's got some really good songs. In the weird thing is I got it on CD, cassette, and vinyl. It's not that I necessarily like this album that much, but I just ended up getting it because I was like, okay, I'll get it. And they do have this limited edition cassette where it's got yellow cassette, and it was like with this $100 something. It was crazy, but I got practically everything it came out on. And I got the really cool limited edition vinyl with all the splats, and it looks really cool. It's shiny too. Like the clear part is shiny. It's hard to kind of see, but it is really, really cool. That with my Pacific Daydream, like Weezer, holy crap, man. With your vinyl, you're doing it really good. Like their designs for Pacific Daydream and Black Album are so cool. Like there's this special edition for the Blue Album where it's just a blue vinyl, which is still really cool. I ain't gonna lie. But dude, their vinyl is so cool. If you haven't guessed already, I do got my record player back here, and I do love vinyl. It is really fun to get into. And I might do a vinyl video coming up. That'd be kind of fun to do. I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Another kind of spin-off CDs they had was during Record Store Day when they released, before Raditude came out, they had Weezer Raditude Happy Record Store Day. Now this CD is actually really hard to find. It took me a while to find this CD, especially cheap. And it is a real, it's like, it's legit was handed out free only that day. And it is hard to find. It's got songs off of Raditude, but pretty much all of them have a different twist. It's kind of like the demos, like, and I think they're actually, some of them are actually better than the final ones. I think is really cool. Which they have Brain Stew, which is a cover of Green Day, which is freaking awesome. I think that's the main reason I got this CD. They got Why Bother, which is a cool live track. They got Buddy Holly, which is a cool live track. They have 2 live tracks on there, which is really cool. Now, another thing, I got another live CD, which I think this was released when they did the album. I don't think this was official. Yeah, I don't think this was. I don't think this was official, but it's Weezer Out Loud Tour for 2001. It's really cool. It was right when Green Album came out, and it's really cool. They play pretty much Green Album and back, and it's a really good CD. That one's hard to find too. And now what I honestly really like is, yes, you can see Rivers Como right there. He looks so sexy. I'm just joking. But Rivers Como, back in like Blue Album and Pinkerton days, he had a lot of just sitting at home, stringing his guitar, and just making these demos. And he had them stored on cassette. He just had a bunch of them. And he talked to this record company, Griffin, which did the Blue Album, and he like made this limited, they were kind of limited, but like a limited amount of this CD, because he knew they weren't going to sell like amazing like the Blue Album, which was released as Alone, the home recordings of Rivers Como, which honestly, if you like rough and tough frickin' Weezer, this is where you go. It was released in 2007, but it was like, it's from the old stuff, and it's really cool. There's only, yeah, they're all old, and it's really good CD. I don't have it in there because it's actually in my CD player. That's how much I listen to this freaking CD. but it is a great album. I would recommend picking it up if you like hard, like not necessarily hard rock, but like just some. It's just a good album. Give it a listen first on like iTunes or something on YouTube. It's really good. Some of them are kind of weird and out there, but think about it again. It is demos and just stuff that came out. It never really came out. Then the follow up to that was Alone 2, and yes, look at that hair. I'm gonna get there one day. And it has really good. It's got 19 songs on here. The other one, it's got 18. It's just cram packed full of Weezer demos. Well, Rivers Cuomo's just home recordings, and it is really really cool. Honestly, same thing I gotta say about this. It's got some really good song on there. It's got this number 15, Walt Disney. It's actually, which yeah, it's a really good song, and I do love the song. Can't stop. Like then there's some demos of other songs on there that came out on albums, but most of them really never came out. Then this other one, which is pretty hard to find as well. I mean, you can look them up online and buy it, but to get them cheap, which I was kind of cheap. I was working at Little Caesars, didn't get that much money. So I had to find them kind of cheap. This one's not Alone. It's Rivers Cuomo and Friends live at Fingerprints, which is this record store. And I think this was released free on that day. I don't know exactly the history on it, but it is really cool. It's got Can't Stop Partying, El Scorcho, Devotion, which Devotion is a Pinkerton non-release song, which when Weezer plays non-release songs, it is so good, man. And they got Butterfly, The Greatest Man That Ever Lived, Fresh Air with Tenny Gross. Oh, there's an interview on here, which is just this female. She's talking to Rivers Cuomo and ask him questions, and it's actually very interesting. I would really recommend it. Listening to that interview, it's really cool if you want to learn more about Rivers Cuomo and his past. It's really interesting. And to continue on that, Weezer really doesn't have that many live CDs. Well, they didn't. They had the Lion and the Witch, which I showed you. They had like a few, but in like 2019, I think early 2019, they freaking just on their website, which I highly recommend if you do like Weezer checking out, they just went kind of crazy and they released a bunch of live CDs, just a bunch of them. And like they're really good, like most of them are, I would say. It's legit just straight up just live when they play, and they just legit recorded it, did nothing to them. They got these little cardboard through CDs in there. Like some of them are double CDs because they're that long. Like this one's got 21 songs. This one's got 2 discs and it's got 12 on each one. That one's 2 discs and it's got 13. These were only sold for a limited time, and I only have 3 of them. I wish I would have bought more. I think they're only like $8 too. I don't know about that price, but I really should have picked up more. I think they had like 50 of them. They made 50 live CDs and just threw them out there. And they only made a limited amount of them. Sorry about that. And it's kind of crazy. Like, just Weezer from all the way from the Blue album to where they are right now with the Black album. And my stupid phone. They're releasing the Van Weezer album out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up on Weezer's website or online. It's really cool. Also, one thing I forgot to talk about was Weezer's Dusty Gems and Raw Nuggets. That's what they call it. It's a Record Store Day exclusive one, and it's this once again. This freaking vinyl is beautiful. It's hard to see exactly. It just looks kind of blue, but I'm gonna take it out for you. When you hold it up to the light, you can see a little bit of marbled in there. It's called Blue Marbled. This one doesn't have a bunch of marble in it, but it's really sweet. And honestly, the unreleased songs on the Blue album, I like better than the songs that were... Some of them I like better than the songs that were actually released on the Blue album. So yeah, that's my opinion on Weezer. If you have any questions about the band or about this video or any of the albums, feel free to leave a comment down below. I hope you have an amazing day, and remember, smile on.